Shadi, welcome.
Hey mate, how are you?
Yeah, doing well. Trying to work out where my head went.
Cheers for having me, man. Is this just you're just trying to get someone new who's sort of not really good at this sort of stuff and just is that what it is?
Hey, your team looks alright.
Oh, thanks to your help, bro. Like honestly, if it wasn't for your videos, you should have seen my initial team. You'd be laughing. You'd be laughing, man.
Yeah, what'd you have originally?
I think I had Andrew Fafita in there in the forwards instead of Crichton. I think I had what's his name? The doggies fullback, Corey Allen.
Corey Allen. Jeez,
Yeah.
He's been a flop.
Yeah. Who else? I think I had who's that Storm centre they bought from the Dogs as well? Remus Smith. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
had his one good week last week. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I helped you. I think I probably steered a few people into a few plays that didn't go so well either. But anyway.
Like it's not really your fault. Like you don't know how games are going to pan out like week to week. Like you're giving the best advice you can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, try my best. But what have we had? Tino so far. Welsh last night. God, that was a killer.
Yeah. Great game though.
Yeah, it's good. That's what I tipped the Storm, so that killed me. But
Mm-hmm.
don't know how they lost that in the end.
It was so close, man. Like I can't believe we finished that way.
Yeah, a few people wanted to trade out Mr. Kurt Capewell, and he seals the game for him.
Star on and off the field, isn't he?
Yeah, he's best. All right, tell me how long you been playing for? As you say, is this your first year or?
Yeah, this is my first year. I think I remember back in year 10, I think I played it for about a week and then put it away once I scored like 500. But no, we're back, and I think we're doing a bit better this year.
Yeah, that's it. Have you got a few mates playing? Is that what's got you into it, or?
Yeah, so we just had like a little league going. It's like $50 buy-ins, and then winner at the end just cash in, I guess.
Yeah, how many of yous?
There's just 8 of us.
Is that overall or head to head?
Head to head.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna be playing it a little bit different to how a lot of us will be.
I'm still sort of keeping in mind the overall score. So I sort of set a goal, if I can be in the top 5% by the end of the year, that'll be good.
Yeah, and you can do that by usually if you've got a good classic overall team, you'll have a good head-to-head team anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be there's a few different things, and we should actually talk about that while you're here.
Mm-hmm.
With our overall, you're going to be a lot heavier trading through that middle period with the buy schedule.
Mm.
Whereas for you as head-to-head, it depends how your settings are set up. Do you know if you play matches during the buy rounds?
Yeah, we do. We do play.
Okay, yeah, I prefer that better. That makes people actually have to trade. Usually, you can just sit there and not do anything and leave everyone, and you're completely fine. Which just makes it too easy at the end. But but yeah, that'll be cool. And then for you, it could be like, all right, well, a guy's going to be out for 2 weeks. I'll probably just leave him.
Mm-hmm.
If he's a gun, it's just going to be about building that gun 17 as quick as possible for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And most people have like a bunch of other players out as well, so it's not sort of like one person's at a disadvantage.
Yeah, exactly. So, where we at with the team, we got Mr. Brayley as captain. I just had a look. I saw 10% of coaches have picked Brayley this week. Great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As 10% as captain, or just having
as captain, which is pretty crazy. What are you expecting him to score that really high score again, like that 70-80, or are you thinking a bit lower?
Look, I'm hoping to. Like, even if he gets a 60 at this stage, like I'll be happy with him because I don't see any other players sort of hitting his scoring consistent. Like, I mean, Fafita got 70 in the 70s last week, but I don't see him repeating that.
It is against my Cowboys though.
Yeah,
they're terrible.
I don't know. I just feel like it's probably the safest option. I was thinking maybe a Crichton, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's obviously got Bison captain there. Yeah, well, I suppose he hasn't. I think he hasn't missed a tackle yet. He got 50 and 60 tackles in the 2 games. So
absolutely amazing, especially coming off injury, man. So unexpected.
Oh, so good for him. But he's actually, I think he's improved even off, having that year off. Maybe just a year older. He's got a bit smarter, maybe. But
100%. He's got a good pack of forwards around him as well. So he's, no excuses for him not to perform.
Yeah, exactly. How are you feeling about Tino at the moment? You decided to keep him this week?
I'm sort of just waiting for that one game till he hits like a 60 or just something stupid high, and then because I feel like I'm just going to regret taking him out at this stage. I was thinking Radley, but I think your advice was maybe hold off for a couple of rounds as he sort of eases himself into bigger minutes, and then maybe bring him in for a Tino, but I'm not sure.
He's actually out this week too.
Yeah. Yeah, so
But yeah, it could be interesting. Obviously, at 546, there's going to be plenty of options there. What was I going to ask? Oh, your 2 trades for the week. I saw you had 188k spare, which is pretty cool. Looking to upgrade someone next week. Was that the plan, or?
At this stage, I'm not too sure. I wasn't really happy with Tuivasa-Sheck's performance. Like, I thought he'd, have one of those big years that he had a few years ago. I thought he'd do better than last year at least. But if I could get him out for a Teddy, that would be good. But I still don't have nearly enough for him.
Okay, so you'd be looking to trade him out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's something to think. I'd just putting out a video this afternoon about last night with guys like Munster, for example, is that they can get that mid 40s to 50 and then have that boom game, and that's kind of where Roger's at. He's similar to like what Brian Toto is last night. He has that really good base, and then if they have that big attacking stat game, they get the 70 and 80 and they go big because they've got that base. So I'd be waiting for that for RTS. Like, that's what I'm doing personally. I've got him as well. And yeah, it's hard when you see Teddy in that he's got 5 tries in 2 games. So
exactly.
It's hard to watch that when RTS isn't scoring any. But yeah, it'll be an interesting one. It depends, obviously, the makeup of your team. How are you feeling with Stephen Crichton?
Not happy at all. I wish I went with a Momorowski. It would have been much cheaper off to start with and just has been scoring way better than him. But I don't know.
There might be a similar price off this week, eh?
I think they're really close. I think Momorowski's in the 400s now. So
yeah, after he's got 38 last night.
Yeah, did great.
Up again. And you picked, obviously your 2 trades this week were O'Sullivan and Schuster. Is that right?
Yeah.
Who was that for?
I think Schuster was in for Davey.
Yeah. Okay, you picked up Davey. That's unlucky.
Yeah.
How good was that first run?
Sorry?
How good was that first run?
Oh, God. Like, I remember seeing his points, like, literally at the start of the game, like, whoa, like, this is crazy. Like, imagine what he's going to be at, like, in 80.
Yeah.
And then a mate texts me, he's like, oh, the bloke's out for the season. And it's just...
I think you didn't see it. Okay, it makes it even worse when you're like, 10, and then his minutes stop going up, and you're, oh, no.
Yeah. I think O'Sullivan was in for Croker, I think.
Oh, you're lucky Croker. Okay, cool. So did you not start with Lamb?
Oh, no, it was for Lamb, actually. No, I think Davey was in for Croker initially. I think I brought him second round, and then O'Sullivan was in for Lamb. Yeah.
Oh, how good's the Croker to Davey trade? That's the worst feeling.
It is what it is. Like, you've got to cop those losses on the chin. Like, the scoring wasn't affected too bad, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly how it works. Unfortunately, I've been playing for probably just over 10 years now, and it's always something every year.
Yeah.
And then if someone will get injured, I'm like, oh, that's ruined my season. And then a week later, you're like, oh, I'm fine. It's all good.
The pressure's on you as well because you're giving all these people advice and these sorts of things. So if you're going under, everyone else is going under as well.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm feeling a bit of pressure to actually score pretty well myself as well. So I know over the season I'll be fine. Like it's a long season, but those first few rounds are always pretty important if you want to get to like the top 500 or so. So.
What really surprised me is how such a small number of points differences between players, like between teams, can change your rank, like overall. I think there was like 50 points difference between someone that was in like the 5,000s and someone's in the 10,000s, which is, I was surprised, honestly.
Yeah, well, it makes sense at this early part of the season with it's very hard obviously for the scores to be so far apart. But what I personally love is during that bye period when you see people they haven't even planned for it at all, and then you'd go from like I've had years where I've gone from like 8,000 to 1,000 in one round, which is pretty crazy. So we'll see that again, which will be interesting. Because we didn't have to, or you didn't play last year, but last year we didn't have to deal with the bye rounds because they had the Origin at the end of the year.
Oh, so fantasy kept going last year when it started back up.
Yeah, it was just a bit different. They gave us like a couple extra trades. No, they reduced the trades, but it helped us out a bit, and there was no Origin schedule, so nothing really to worry about. So it kind of like hurt the people that had prepped for Origin in the first couple of rounds because it was 2 rounds and then we went off. Those people and whoever saved a few trades in the first few weeks, they kind of got hurt a little bit, which is what it is. But it made for a different type of season. And the buys have changed this year too. Because there used to be 3 buy rounds, and a lot of like Teddies and Cooks, these kind of guys wouldn't play for the like 5 rounds in amongst the buy schedule sometimes. Like they picked up a bit of a knock in Origin, they wouldn't play for their club, and you kind of had to trade out the guns, which is now, with there only being 2 weeks off, that it's kind of okay. You should be able to hold the guns, which will be interesting in itself. But
that was the biggest thing, like in choosing players. It's sort of knowing that these players are going to be out for a few rounds, but they're the best of the best pretty much when you're putting your team together. So it really throws a spanner into the works.
Yeah, and I'm proud of you for not getting rid of Cleary or Pap this week. So well done.
No, they'll be back next week. Hopefully, I think they're just
they'll be back. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think there's a bunch of people that have traded Crichton already, and then they've traded Cleary and Pap this week too. So it's funny seeing those. Are you on any of the Facebook groups as well?
No, we just got a little chat going with my mates. That's about it.
Okay. How did you hear about the Discord?
A mate sent a link to your videos on YouTube, and then I saw your little link in the description, and here we are.
Good man. What do you think? What's the biggest thing you've taken out of sort of my videos and what I'm trying to teach?
Honestly, it'd just be the player selections, like players that I thought would be great, and just hearing you talk about them. For example, Ramus Smith. I thought he'd be highest try scorer this year at the Storm, and he'd be doing great, but then you sort of talked me out of it. So it's just those little sorts of things where, yeah, I think Josh Hodgson as well, telling me that, he's a great player on the field, but then in fantasy points, it doesn't sort of translate. So those sorts of pieces of advice is just sort of trying to differentiate being like footy coach to an NRL fantasy coach. That's the biggest takeaway, I guess.
Oh, that's good. Well, you can see that with Tino last week. Played a pretty good game, but scored terribly. So
yeah, I think I had a mate who captained him as well, which helped me out in the head-to-head for sure.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
That's tough. What else are we looking at? We got the interchange and the emergencies. You're pretty well set up, aren't you? You've got the sort of some edge cover with Crichton if you needed to. Got the hooker, the mid. Obviously, the halves is fine. Wing fullbacks also fine. And then you got Averillo as the centre, which is pretty cool. So looking.
I think we're all hoping he'd do a bit better this year, eh?
What's that, sorry?
I think we're all hoping Averillo would do better this year, hey?
Yeah, and I think there's still a chance he does, but he just hasn't run the ball at all. Which in the past, if you have watched him play the last couple of years, that was his best part of his game. So if the elbow's still hampering him, then if they've been playing wet footy games too, so I don't know if that changes much with him. But I think if a bunch of us, I personally have to play him this week, so let's hope he has his big one this week.
It'll be against the Broncos, isn't it? So if he is going to take the opportunity to play well, it'd probably be this week, wouldn't it?
Yeah, more chance this week than against the Panthers. So, there you go. Did you have any more questions, mate? It was good to have you as our first guest on the Discord spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, probably my only question would be Crichton. Do you think I should leave him in there, stick with him for the rest of the season, or should I look to trade him out because he hasn't been performing relative to his price when I first put him in?
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish you saw that in one of my earlier videos for Crichton. I was talking about for him, like I had him the whole year last year, or whenever he came in, round 2 or 3, and just scored a heap of tries. But he'd score a try or two and get like 40. You know what I mean? Whereas some other guys score a try, they get 55, 60. He just doesn't have the base, unfortunately, and for him, he's going to need to score a try and to get there, and he's not going to be a keeper. I think what did he score? Almost 20 tries last year out of the 20 games, and still was priced at just under that 500. You know what I mean? He's had a perfect year, but and still didn't become a keeper. So that's my thoughts on him. I think that'll continue to happen all year. He'll get you 35 or so as like an average, but that's probably his ceiling. But question is, do you want to trade him out for someone else?
I was thinking, if he can make some money in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I heard Tom Trbojevic would be coming back, and I don't know if he's positioned in the centres, but
he'll be a fullback only.
Okay. Not too sure who to swap him out with. Maybe Opacek or Momirovski, but I don't know if Momirovski's going to keep playing the way he's been playing.
Yeah,
if they're getting him.
And if they're going to be a very similar price, it's like, they're going to score much different. Is it worth it? And probably not. Same with Opacek. Yeah, he's kind of got that decent. He's got the good base, which is great. But you might score a try every 3 or 4 weeks, not more than that. So I feel like you could probably spend some cash elsewhere. What are we looking at? What do we got? Turpin, who needs to step up a little bit. Be interesting to see what happened with the Tom Dearden news. Did you just see that?
Yeah, on the topic of Broncos, I was going to ask you, when Stags does come back, do you think Neo is going to lose a spot, or do you think it's going to go to the other centre?
Who they got? Herbert?
Herbert, yeah. Herbert? No. Was it?
No, Herbert. Is he? I'm lost now.
He's the Titans.
Farnworth.
Farnworth, yeah, Farnsworth.
Okay, Herbert's
Yeah,
Titans.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess it'll depend. Like, he didn't defend very well the other night, Tessie.
Mm.
That's what I'm kind of worried about him. If yes, his attack's really cool, but
Mhm.
will he lose his spot through defense? But what have we got? We got half the year, don't we?
Something like that. Something like that.
So
I heard he was interested in coming in as 5'8" as well.
Oh, right. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows with that team? But I wouldn't worry. Like, Tessies should be out of our sides by then anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, not one to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got? What's for those that aren't in the Discord, can you give something, maybe an insight as to what's great about being in the Discord group?
I was surprised how friendly people are. Like, I mean, as many people as there are there, when I did put a message through, I was expecting to just be ignored, but, you know, people are always replying and super friendly and super helpful. Like, it's not I'd expect it to be like a very competitive environment, but people are just so willing to help. Like, it's almost like silly. Like, they shouldn't be that helpful, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. They're definitely helpful, but then you get, I love myself when I get someone that doesn't play as well one week. They're like, see, I told you.
Yeah.
Everyone, but that's it. That's everywhere. Oh, yeah, I told you so. I told you never to pick him up. It's like,
Yeah.
How do you know? You're not going to know what he's going to score.
No, it definitely supplements the videos pretty well. So after I'm done a video, I usually check the chat and see what's going on there. So
yeah, sometimes I find myself.
The viewers definitely recommend.
Sometimes I find myself scrolling for a while.
Yeah. No, it is busy, but it's good busy. It's good busy.
Yeah, there's always something. There's a few really good coaches in there too. For anyone that wants that extra bit of help, if you're not sure. Like, I know the comments in the YouTube videos are getting a bit busy at the moment, so I imagine that hopefully that obviously is going to grow a little bit more. But if I don't happen to get to a comment, then there's guys to help you out in Discord too. So just that's there.
Yeah, for sure.
There. There you go. Thanks, Shady. Hope you have a good week. What have we got here? What were you ranked after round 2?
Overall?
Yeah.
I think around the 5,000 mark, and then I dropped off the round after.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty solid little start, and hopefully, even with Cleary and Pap out, you can have a pretty solid week. Hopefully, a couple of 40s from the halves boys there will be good.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. No clue how they're going to perform, but hopefully they surprise everyone.
Well, Welch and Crichton got the same score, so you can handle that.
Yeah.
Easy as. Thanks for that, mate. I appreciate you coming on the video, and we'll see who's going to be next in the Discord spotlight.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me, man. Have a good one.
Appreciate it, mate. See you later.
Take care. Bye.